Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about controversies in Hollywood right now, the ongoing drama between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Over the past week, the media has been filled with sensational headlines and claims of sexual harassment, professional misconduct, and personal tensions between these two stars. As many of you know, these kinds of stories can get pretty complicated, especially when they involve serious accusations. So, today, we're going to break everything down for you, taking a closer look at the key allegations, the context, and what's really going on behind the scenes. Let's start by looking at the core issue that sparked all of this: the allegations made by Blake Lively against her co-star and the director of the film, Justin Baldoni. According to Lively, Baldoni engaged in multiple instances of inappropriate behavior during the filming of their recent movie. Lively claims Baldoni made repeated unwanted advances toward her, crossing professional boundaries and creating a toxic environment on set. In one of the more shocking allegations, Lively accuses Baldoni of deliberately making mistakes during intimate scenes, forcing retakes that allowed for extended physical contact. She also claims that Baldoni attempted to push the limits of the film's script by inserting more explicit content without her consent. But let's not rush ahead too fast. The movie in question is an adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, It Ends With Us. The book tackles heavy themes like domestic violence and toxic relationships. Now, before we go any further, it's important to note the seriousness of the subject matter that this movie was trying to address. Domestic violence is not just a sensitive issue, but it's also one that often gets mishandled or oversimplified in films. And this is where the controversy really starts to heat up. You see, critics of the movie have been calling out the way it tries to blend the romantic elements of the story with the much darker theme of abuse. They argue that romance and violence don't mix, and it's disrespectful to try to combine them in a way that doesn't properly address the gravity of the situation. This criticism highlights a key issue with the movie itself. It doesn't seem to fully honor the seriousness of the story it's trying to tell. Instead, it appears to romanticize certain aspects of the narrative that should never be romanticized, such as abusive behavior and manipulation. But the allegations go beyond just the film's content. Lively has said that her real-life experience with Baldoni mirrored some of the troubling dynamics at play in the film. She claims that while they were shooting intimate scenes, Baldoni's actions made her feel uncomfortable, and that some of his behavior was bordering on harassment. According to Lively, there were moments when Baldoni's desire seemed more than just part of the character he was playing. It felt personal. As a result, Lively says she began to feel like a victim of exploitation, rather than a professional actress doing her job. Now, it's worth mentioning that these kinds of scenes can often be difficult to shoot in Hollywood. Actors have to portray intimate moments with their co-stars, sometimes with little to no chemistry or personal connection, and they're often required to wear revealing clothing in front of large crews. The goal is to create an illusion on screen, but this doesn't mean it's always easy for everyone involved. In fact, many actors have spoken out about the challenges of shooting love scenes, and some have even described feeling vulnerable and objectified. This is why many productions now require intimacy coordinators to help navigate these tricky situations and ensure that everyone feels safe and respected on set. But from Lively's perspective, it sounds like Baldoni crossed some lines, and that's what ultimately led to her taking legal action. In addition to the specific incidents on set, Lively's accusations include a number of unsettling personal interactions with Baldoni. She claims that during breaks in filming, while she was breastfeeding her child, Baldoni would repeatedly enter the room and observe her in a way that made her feel uncomfortable and disrespected. This, according to Lively, was not only an invasion of privacy but also a violation of basic professional boundaries. She says these actions left her feeling humiliated and violated, especially because breastfeeding is a personal moment for any mother. There's also a troubling allegation involving Baldoni's supposed addiction to pornography. Lively has claimed that Baldoni would often try to show her explicit content during their interactions and make suggestive comments. She believes that Baldoni's behavior stemmed from this alleged addiction, and that it played a role in his attempts to cross boundaries with her. It's important to note that pornography addiction is a real issue that can have serious consequences on relationships and professional behavior. If Lively's accusations are true, it would paint a disturbing picture of Baldoni's actions on set. Lively has also accused Baldoni of making unwelcome comments about her body, particularly about her weight. She claims he repeatedly asked her about her weight, even going so far as to make jokes about it. This type of behavior, which seems harmless to some, can be incredibly damaging to a woman's self-esteem and sense of security, especially when it's coming from someone in a position of power. But perhaps the most personal and painful accusation Lively makes is that Baldoni allegedly suggested he wanted to speak with her father about their professional relationship. The problem here is that Lively's father passed away a few years ago, making this suggestion not only inappropriate but also deeply hurtful. In Lively's eyes, Baldoni was disrespecting her family and exploiting her grief to try to gain leverage in their interactions. As you can imagine, all of these allegations have created significant tension on set and within the industry. Blake Lively didn't just let these issues slide, she took action. She made demands that her concerns be addressed, including the appointment of a full-time intimacy coordinator and a ban on explicit images or content being shown to her or her staff. She also made it clear that any further inappropriate comments or actions from Baldoni were unacceptable. These demands were made in an effort to protect her well-being and create a safer, more respectful work environment. Now, while these allegations are shocking, it's important to remember that we don't have the full picture yet. Baldoni has denied the accusations, and his legal team is doing everything they can to refute the claims made against him. They've labeled the allegations false, outrageous, and salacious, but it's clear that these are serious matters that the court will have to address. The legal process will help to determine the truth of these claims, and whether or not Baldoni's behavior was indeed inappropriate. However, what we do know is that this case has sparked a much larger conversation about the treatment of women in Hollywood and the power dynamics at play in the entertainment industry. Many women, including several prominent actresses, have expressed their support for Lively, commending her for speaking out and challenging the status quo. In contrast, some of Baldoni's supporters are defending him, claiming that he was just doing his job and that the allegations are exaggerated. At the heart of this case, though, is the question of consent. Blake Lively is asserting that her consent was not respected in certain situations, and that her professional boundaries were violated. If the allegations are true, this would be a serious case of sexual harassment. But if they are false, it could be a devastating blow to Baldoni's reputation and career. The court case is still ongoing, and we don't yet know how it will end. What we do know is that this situation is far from over, and that the implications for both Lively and Baldoni are significant. Will justice be served? Will the truth come to light? Only time will tell. So, now that you've heard the key details, we want to know what you think. Do you believe Blake Lively's accusations? Or do you think Justin Baldoni is being unfairly targeted? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. And, of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing story. We'll be back soon with more updates, as the court case continues and more revelations come to light. Stay tuned for the next video, where we'll dive into what this case means for both stars' careers and the broader conversation about sexual harassment in Hollywood. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.